Kurosawa's The Bad Sleep Well is the middle of the three adaptations of Shakespeare he filmed over his long and revered career. It comes 3 years after Throne of Blood and 2.5 decades before Ron, which is his version of King Lear. Unlike those other two movies, this is not set in medieval Japan with samurai acting out the ye old Shakespeare's basic plotline, but in very contemporary Japan. In Japan Kurosawa was living in right now, it is a modern dress film noir spin-off of Hamlet. It is not stuck doing Hamlet beat by beat. It is very confident in varying its source and adapting freely. On the other hand, it's not Hamlet. We have a story about a psychologically complicated and sometimes alarming revenger. In some ways, the adaptation frees the director up to show us things that he sees in the source text that many productions don't highlight. Nishi, our Hamlet equivalent here, is both a man of a real conscience and a fairly frightening dude. He's conflicted. Here's the thing we sometimes forget about revenge tragedy. Revenge is scary. Revenge is bad. It's not easy. And Nishi, like Hamlet, is very, very conflicted. We are seeing a very westernized Japan. How did Japan get so westernized in 1960? I think you know the answer. Some of it had been happening up before World War II as Japan tried to catch up with the more technologically and economically sophisticated West. And a lot happened after 1945 with American occupation. We begin with, or a very early scene is a very formal wedding banquet where everybody is dressed like they're in London or very upscale New York. It is both simultaneously very Japanese and very 20th century and very westernized. That microphone, that big microphone, is a very mid-century, 20th century artifact. This is a colonized country. Later in the movie, we see some characters hiding in bombed-out rubble. Why is there bombed-out rubble 15 years after the war? Because they haven't cleaned it up yet. It takes a long time. Kurosawa is understandably ambivalent about American occupation of his country and Western influence. The rap on Kurosawa in Japan, as I understand it, not being Japanese, is that he is too westernized. The flip side of being America and Europe's favorite Japanese director of the late 20th century is that in Japan, he seems to be very much westernized, Europeanized, Americanized, and he's in an ongoing conversation. Kurosawa can't help being in that conversation. He's going to prioritize it with all of its complexity. This is also a very Japanese movie. You might see somebody thinking about suicide, trying to climb a volcano to do it. They're on Mount Fuji, ashy old Mount Fuji. Not a good place. A sacred and very Japanese place, even if we were all wearing neckties. Toshiro Mifune, who you will see one way or another in this class as the star of Throne of Blood, is playing a totally different character. No top knot, no Tokugawa era armor, business suit and glasses. He's Hamlet by way of Clark Kent, by way of being a bad mofo, and especially morally conflicted in his heart, deeply ruthless in this way. There is, you will notice, a reordering of the basic relationships. The kind of the Hamlet character's relationship to the Laertes and Ophelia characters has been rearranged in ways that actually I gotta say, heighten the tension. And we are also clearly doing it's business corruption, not national, not a king, not a country. And if you enjoy Almereyda's 2000 version of Hamlet and his brilliant idea to set Hamlet in a corrupt corporation in a skyscraper, well, Almereyda's seen this movie for sure. So thank you again, Kurosawa. The other thing you will notice that is a real change, there is no ghost. Kurosawa's national belief system, his national, how should I put this, folk beliefs, superstitions are different than the English speaking words, folk beliefs, superstitions, and stuff. He doesn't believe in our ghosts and our witches. Only we believe in that because, it's not terrible. They're not terribly plausible. There's nothing supernatural here. The scariness, the ghost story, is the beauty of black and white. Kurosawa is a master of black and white cinematography. He can take the very ordinary world, the very staid world of business, and make it very tense, very successful, and very spooky. I give you the ghost-like appearance of Wada partway through the movie. What makes that so ghost-like? Lighting, baby. Lighting and editing. That we see that person for just a second in that particular way is scarier than any ghost I've ever seen in a film that's allegedly Hamlet.